After carefully reviewing the task force report and seeking input from other sources, she will make a decision. But who are these other sources? We know that State Representative Jessica Farrar, State Representative Rick Noriega, and United States Representative Gene Green have all communicated with Dr. Couture and said sign the Designated Suppliers Program. She didn't even bother, Dr. Couture didn't even bother to answer their letters. Then she writes, Dr. Couture, we, what is she talking about we? She's making the decision, it's her press release. We will accept the recommendation of the task force to join the Fair Labor Association. And then she goes on to say, we'll tell all the vendors, to adhere to the code of conduct. Well, the Fair Labor Association is made up of manufacturers and universities. They don't enforce their code. In all the years of their existence, they've never dropped an apparel manufacturer, Nike or Adidas, from their association. And neither has Barnes & Nobles. So Dr. Couture is saying, we'll have this code of conduct, but there's no enforcement mechanism. And there's no history in the 10 years of the Fair Labor Association to enforce anything. So that's like, okay, let's have laws. We won't have jails, we won't have police, we won't have courts. We'll just have a law. It's not going to work. And the Fair Labor Association itself admits that. So finally, getting towards the end, Dr. Couture writes, the task force said to join the WRC, Workers' Rights Consortium. But she's concerned that there's a lack of information about their operating methods and that they are intensely involved with organizations espousing very definitive social, political, and economic viewpoints. I asked our general counsel to consult with the Texas Attorney General to determine if there's a barrier or legal reason UH should not join this group. And that's where it gets really bad, because that's where Dr. Couture starts covering up. Donna Hamilton Cornell, she's a University of Houston general counsel, she contacted us. We contacted her last week. We said, okay, where's the letter from the Attorney General? Your boss, Dr. Couture, told you to contact him. What did they tell you? She said she contacted him verbally, written, and she refuses to divulge what the Attorney General says. She contacted them before Dr. Couture made her report, before she made her reaction, her press release. And now they don't want to tell us what the Attorney General told them, because the Attorney General obviously said it's not illegal to join the Workers' Rights Consortium. 182 universities across the country are members of this. How could it be illegal? There's some special law in Texas that you can't join a non-profit, third-party, independent monitoring agency? Ridiculous. So the final thing is that we went through the shared governance system. Student government unanimously passed a bill, joined the DSP, joined the WRC. It went through the staff and the faculty. Nobody objected. And when it finished that in April, it went to Dr. Couture's desk. She's never said one word about the shared governance system. So we're really concerned that our university would try to blatantly say that these things aren't made in sweatshops. And we know all clothes are made in sweatshops unless they're made by union. And we're really concerned that our university would issue something like this in an academic environment with no data. These professors that are on this committee would get laughed out of their field, their specialty, if they tried to submit something like this to a peer-reviewed journal. So we're going to continue our campaign to stop the university from using sweatshops to manufacture apparel. And after we take questions, we're going to go to the president's office and we're going to use her own words. She did an hour-long interview at C-SPAN, and she said, she's from India, the globalization is not trickling down to the little people in India. This designated supplier program is the exact mechanism to address that. It's to ensure that workers in third world countries making our collegiate apparel don't get exploited and get paid a living wage. Yet Dr. Couture, even though she gets on TV and says these things, she doesn't have any will to actually put her money where her mouth is and actually do something to affect the lives of people in her country. India is full of sweatshops. The United States, there's sweatshops in the city, there's sweatshops all over the place, and Dr. Couture, she wants to hide behind her lawyer who admitted she's already contacted the Attorney General. This is an outrage, and all the public, people who pay taxes in this city, in this state, should be outraged that Dr. Couture is trying to cover up this abuse of women of color. 90% of people working in sweatshops are women of color, and we're not going to allow it to stop. they continue to criminalize us, and file false disciplinary charges, or call the police on us, that's not going to deter us. We're going to keep fighting for what's right. So we can be proud of our university and buy our logo apparel and know that it's not abusing some woman or some children, not using child labor. Any questions?
One more time, the cell phone kind of cut you off there at the end. Tell me one more time about your concerns about the status of this in the university.
We're concerned especially that Donna Hamilton, the attorney for the university, has already contacted the Attorney General, and she's covering up what he said. And Dr. Couture has said, I asked her to contact the Attorney General, and she had. So Dr. Couture knows that she contacted her, has been given advice by her attorney, yet she's trying to pretend it's something in the future. I'm waiting for her to contact the Attorney General, and then when she tells us, then I'll make a decision. She's ignoring her own unelected task force recommendations, and now she's covering up what the Texas Attorney General has told her lawyer. And her lawyer, we asked her, when are you going to make your advice, when are you going to give your counsel to Dr. Couture? She clammed up in the email that's on our blog. She said, I can't have this discourse with you. So that kind of shenanigans is going to be poorly reflected in the public at the University of Houston.
And one more time, what's the status right now of the goods that are available for the students to buy? Do you have any idea what kind of
conditions they're made in? Well, we know that none of the manufacturers can tell us where their factories are. We've asked Barnes & Noble a long time ago. And even the task force apparel said, the Apparel Task Force said, we can't know what conditions they're made under, and we can't, there's nothing we can do. So they're trying to say they're not made sweatshops, but they can't even tell us where they're made. And then they said they visited a factory in India and China, and they don't say anything else. Well, what did you find? Well, you found a sweatshop, that's what you found. Because, this is just common knowledge. So we can't go there and buy anything without knowing what conditions they're made in.
Do you find that disturbing? And I'm sure you do. Are you shocked that the university officials don't find that bothersome, that these companies can't tell you the conditions of the factories that their own goods are coming from?
Yeah, I'm very shocked that the university tells us in their report we can't know where they're manufactured, what conditions, but that's okay, we can't do anything about it. And that kind of attitude, like a retired faculty member said at our last protest, that, when you turn your light off in your house to save energy, that's not going to solve global warming, but you do it anyway. We got to do what we can. 45 universities across the country have done more, and 182 have affiliated to work twice before. And there's plenty more we can be doing. And I think that gives an insight into Dr. Couture's mind that, look, I don't really care about this issue at all, even though it's people in my country that are affected. I'll get on C-SPAN and say I care, but when it comes to put the rubber to the road, I won't do anything. And that's really disappointing.
Do you think the university officials have an impression that maybe the students don't care about it, or why do you think that there's this condition exists?
Yeah, I think that the university is so used to getting away with doing whatever they want. They raised tuition 6%. The provost is quoted saying, "People can handle it." Well, I can't handle it. I'm going to have to drop out from my PhD program. So they're just uncaring, and they're so used to getting away with doing whatever they want that they assume that we're just going to give up and go away, and they can continue to get away with running this like a for-profit corporation instead of we're trying to educate people. That's our main goal. When we educate them, they turn their back and say, we don't care, we don't want to know anymore. This is ridiculous. It's not funny, I'm laughing about it, it's very serious.
I understand. All right, very good, that does it for me.
Great. Goose, you missed, yeah. So, this is what I said.
Hold on.
Where we're going to go, I don't know if you have time, we're going to deliver a poster that has a letter from Dr. Couture. I don't know if you're going to come with us or not.